Yellow again, guys. It's Yago here. You're back with another audio video. It's been a long time since I've been uploaded to the channel, so let's get straight to this video. This is part 4 of What If Nut Was the King of Chakra. So guys, the other part 4 which I made, scratch that. I was very tired and sleeping, so I was just talking some different shit. So I'm gonna delete that part. This is like the original part 4 now. So let's get straight to the video. So time skip. Everyone has arrived at the tower. Everyone is already ready to begin these exams. Like I said, all of some of the villages are attending. The Rock, the Cloud, and everyone else is attending the Chunin exams. So let's get straight into the preliminaries. So in the preliminaries, first match is Sasuke versus Yoroi, which they go down, and Sasuke, because of the curse mark's influence, he doesn't use the curse mark actually. He uses pure taijutsu to defeat Yoroi, which Sasuke gets the dub. He wins that fight. The other rookies battle it out. Then there's also Neji versus Hinata. Hinata gets her ass clapped. No cap on that one, cause she's pretty pathetic in my own terms. I know you guys are gonna hate me in the comments, but I don't care. My word if my rules. So continuing on. It then comes down, to Naruto versus Menma. This is like a long-awaited match, which they want to see, like, how like who's stronger between the siblings. Since Naruto is like the oldest of the siblings, it's expected him to be stronger. But Menma was trained by Minato and Kushina, and Jiraiya and Tsunade as well. So yeah, let's get straight into, so let's see how it's gonna go. So they both go downstairs, which Menma starts talking trash that he's gonna beat up Naruto, that is much more stronger than him. Which Naruto then just tells Menma that to Menma like, oi, stop talking that shit, bruh, and let's fight. So immediately they then head into their fighting stances and they start fighting. Menma is using his taijutsu, which is using like the frog Kumeta, which since he has the summoning contract of the frogs, but he hasn't trained in Sage mode yet. So they begin fighting, they're exchanging blows for blows, which people are very excited about, which then says Menma says, oh, you got. Whereas, Menma then increases his speed, going faster and faster and faster. Which Naruto is keeping up with, since Naruto has his eyes activated, but they're covered by Genjutsu. Only a Yuga, can see this. But the Yuga's not even paying attention to that. So as they continue on beating up, Menma, then forms a Rasengan in his hands as it like tries to strike it to Naruto. Naruto seeing this is like, ah, hell no. As he then, runs to it and says, Earth style mud wall. As Menma slams the Rasengan into the mud wall, which there's a great explosion. Naruto wastes no time as he creates shadow clones, which these shadow clones hurry up and go and gang up on Menma and they start beating him up. Naruto then takes a kunai, as he then chucks it into Menma's shoulder, which it stabs in there. So this kunai is basically coated with poison, which then tells Menma that, yo Menma, if you don't give up the poison, it's gonna render you like defenseless and stuff. I have the antidote. That takes out the antidote, which is like pink, which Menma seeing like no option rather than dying here, he gives up. Which then gives him the antidote, which he then gets better, but it drains a lot out of him. So the other matches, Mito goes against some random genin from the cloud, or yeah, something like that. She defeats him. So she then walks up and tells him that she's gonna get revenge for Menma for defeating him. If it wasn't for the poison, he would have lost. Then says, yeah, I don't care. So the Hokage then comes down as he then says, you guys have like 1 month of training, learn new moves, do different stuff, and yeah, let's meet after 1 month. So immediately Naruto then summons Zetsu up, as Black Zetsu then reveals the white Zetsu, which turns into Naruto. As Naruto then grabs onto Black Zetsu, he then disappears. This time, like, if I said that Naruto's gonna fake his death, no, he's not gonna fake his death. He's just gonna leave a clone in his place and go do some other shit. So Naruto then heads over to Uzu. As he then goes to see like how the developments are going in Uzu, to make sure that everything is going according to plan. Everything is going as how he is envisioned. Naruto has spent a lot of time designing this place. like literally a lot of time. He's designed this place so it can become like, it's invisible to the outside world, but what's inside? Damn, it's very beautiful. I'm gonna show you the picture very soon, maybe towards the end of the what if, depending on how I feel about it. So let's continue. Naruto then heads over there, as he sees Tazuna, the master builder, he's working on the place. Even the shinobis which Naruto has been taking from the elemental nations all around, it's also been helping. Naruto has also been sending some of his clones, to like absorb, these smaller villages, like the villages, like the tribes which separated from Uzu, from around the world. So Naruto has been absorbing those little small villages and taking the people to Uzu, and like destroying the villages which are currently there. Which people, just think that these villages have been raided by some people, and they killed all the villagers, so the ninjas don't get suspicious about this, since they only care about their great nations. So Naruto, um, seeing this as well, he then heads inside to the main castle. In this castle, Naruto goes to the basement. The basement, was like over the old Uzukage Tower, which is like in a mountain area, which has a lot of nature energy. Down there, there's like a tree, the chakra tree, which is growing some strong fruits. Naruto placed some seals around the tree so that time can accelerate. Right now the tree is currently at like at 100 years right now of growing, so it's yet to bloom or do anything. It's just sucking up chakra currently. So Naruto then heads over to the tree. As pumps some of his chakra into the tree. As the tree then grows a little bit. As Naruto then runs through some hand seals. Time disruption jutsu. Fuin! He calls out. As the seals on the walls, seals on the ground, they glow. As the tree is now trapped into a certain containment field where time starts accelerating at an extraordinary pace. So Naruto then begins his training. As he starts to to do some taijutsu, some stronger genjutsus. His ninjutsu is already off the charts. He then asks Setsuin to steal like the scroll for wood style from the Kage office, which Setsu makes a copy of the scroll as he gives it to Naruto. Naruto then learns some of the wood style techniques, like the wood style 7,000 hands, wood style the laughing Buddha statue, wood style interlocking wall, wood style what's this one, like child beast binding, the one you can bind child beasts, wood style great forest emergence, yeah, multiple juices, the wood golem statue, the wood dragon jutsu, all those. So the time for 1 month comes to an end as Naruto then heads off back to the village, the Leaf Village. So at the Leaf Village, Naruto heads inside. As he heads for the arena. In the arena, um, previously in the arena, some matches have went on in the arena. As it was Mito who defeated Neji for harming Hinata. So Mito was like Hinata's friend, so she was pretty pissed at Neji for doing that. So now she beat Neji senseless and gave him the Talk no Jutsu, which I think she can do it. Yeah, she can do the Talk no Jutsu. But it's not as powerful. But it changes Neji a bit, it shifts his views a bit. So Naruto then enters the ring. As Naruto is supposed to go against a Konoichi from the cloud. Which we just say it's Yugi to the two-tails Jinchuriki. Yeah. So the practice says it's Naruto Uzumaki versus Yuji to Ni from the cloud. So Yuji then goes down. As the practice says Naruto Uzumaki, I call you again. As suddenly a wood vine bursts from the ground. As it then splits in the middle as Naruto pops out. Which everybody's like, what the fuck? This guy can use wood still. Damn it. We should have known. Down there in the stand is like, shit, I should have had this kid introduced into my own boot, damn it. But I can still do it. I hope Orochimaru's plan succeeds so I can take over this village and put that boy in my anvil with the paw of that boy. Capturing Jinchuriki would be very easy, he says to himself. You know, with Minato in the Kage stands, Minato is surprised. What? He has wood style. With Tsunade, Jirai, and Kushina, they're shocked by this. They're flabbergasted. As well as, meanwhile, they're like, oh, the kid, he has wood style. How is this possible? They're like surprised how Naruto has wood style. So, the doctor then says, are you guys ready? Which they both know then. Say begin. So Yujito wastes no time, she then extends her claws and starts to slice and dice, intending, to stab Naruto. But Naruto, she takes out his sword, which, he created from the black orbs, the truth seeker balls. So, this sword, is a special sword. It's like it's a katana, which is seals, the five seals for all the elements. It also has, a self-restoration seal, a sharpening seal, which, the sword will always be sharp no matter what. Even if the sword gets destroyed, it will recreate itself, with the surrounding chakra of the surrounding areas. It will recreate itself, so no major damage might be applied to the sword. So, Naruto, starts to block, Hijito's claws, Instead of keeping on going head to head, Hijito slicing. Yujito then runs through Hentas and she then says, blue mouse hairballs. As she launches some mice which have blue fire, which is thanks, to the two tails. Which Naruto, seeing this, he just launches the water style jutsu, which, he draws like water from the ground. Which, the Kages are shocked about, that this, this control is just the same, is almost the same as the second Okage, which was, what was that guy? Tobirama, yeah, I think that's his name. So their fight continues. Yujito, wastes no time as she then enters her tailed beast state, which, she has two tails and she's like a giant cat. After seeing this, then runs through Hen's house. Wood style! Several thousand hands, Naruto says. Sorry about that, guys, if I, do that in your ears. But, I just felt like I could do it. So, suddenly, several thousand hands, pop out of the ground as, they want to grab the tutors. Usually, using like the tutors, flexibility and speed, she starts to dodge these hands. After seeing this in restaurants, wood style, wood dragon. So launches a wood dragon as it stands on its head. The wood dragon then manages, to bound Yujito. As Yujito like, she's trying her best like to get out of this, but like the wood is absorbing her power. Which, Matatabi gets knocked out since, wood style, can suppress the third beast. So Yujito eventually like reverts to her natural form. Ishinata then goes over and chops her on the neck, knocking her out. So the proctor seeing this and says, the winner is Naruto. As the whole stadium is quiet. This bloodline, was the last seen since, the age of the the age of the first Hokage. No one else had it. Apart from, Tenzo, like that experiment of Orochimaru. Orochimaru disguises the Kazekage, It's like, damn that boy. I should put my curse mark on him. Yes, with the power of the wood style and the Sharingan, I'll be unstoppable. Orochimaru says to himself. So Sasuke still arrives, as he's supposed to. He's still scheduled to fight Gaara, which he does fight Gaara. As the Gaara and Sasuke's battle goes the same. Sasuke then stabs Gaara with a Chidori, as Gaara, then like starts to transform into Shukaku. So this everything happens as in canon, but the invasion starts. So the third Hokage still gets grabbed, but this time Minato um Minato toasts his kunai into the place as he flashes inside the barrier, as well as the Raikage and the Tsuchikage. So Orochimaru seeing this, he brings back the first Hokage, the second Hokage, the first Tsuchikage and the first Raikage, to combat these people. As the fight starts. Naruto saying this, wants to go after Shikaku, but Yoda says, meh, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not stupid. So it's Mito who goes after Shikaku, since Mito and Menma go after Shikaku. Which the fight goes as in canon for Naruto, like how Naruto did it. Naruto, in the meanwhile, he heads over, to the Leaf Village's bank, like the banking clan of the Leaf Village. I'm very sorry about that noise, guys. It's my siblings who's playing outside, so if you guys, I'm sorry about that. I'm very sorry. So, Naruto heads over to the banking clan. He then, casts a genjutsu, on the guards which are there and the workers. And Naruto then heads inside. He then goes, into the Leaf finances. He then goes over to like clan finances. He then sees, the Uchiha's clan funds which are there, but then says, Uchiha clan funds. Nah, I'm gonna take these. He then takes, the Uchiha clan funds. He takes like, a third of the Uchiha clan funds, which they still have a lot. He then takes, half of the Yoga funds. He then takes, all of the Uzumaki funds which are in that place, since they were under Kushina's name. Because Minato has also worked his ass off. He has like lots of money. He takes like some of that as well. Cause like Mito and Meno made clan errors, so Naruto like is exacting his revenge. He then takes some of the Akamichis, like he takes money from most of the clans in the village, like half of it. After taking that money, he then like disappears, heading over to the fire country, where it's like the place of the fire daimyo. He then casts a heavy genjutsu on everyone there. Because he then like gets the whirlpool deeds from the Fire Lord, as well as taking like half of the Fire Lord's money, which he's not gonna remember any of this, but they're gonna record their money missing. He then like seals all these funds into a scroll. As he hands them over, to Black Zetsu. As Black Zetsu, sends the like Black Zetsu transfers them over, um to his village. So after this, the invasion is eventually quelled, which Orochimaru is sent on the run, since he has lost this battle and he can't do shit about it. Cause what can you do against Onoki with his particle star, just like doing dismantling jutsu and shit, which Orochimaru is like, I don't wanna get dismantled. So Orochimaru still successfully does his goal. He kills the third Hokage, as the third Hokage still seals up his arms. Minato is pretty banged up, but he's still okay. And the legendary is running up there, so many lives are saved thanks to Tsunade and Shizune healing up almost everyone. So after the invasion happens, the village starts rebuilding itself, with the help of Chenzo's wood style. As Naruto is just there, like chilling in his apartment. Naruto then gets summoned by an Anbu to the Hokage to the council room, as well as the Hokage office and the council room. Naruto then heads over there. As he walks into the council room. As he goes into the center of the council room, where the council members are there in that place. So then the council member then says, Naruto Uzumaki, you've been summoned by this council. You were to explain to us, how you have the wood style. Which Naruto then says, what? He then say, boy, are you deaf? You're supposed to explain to us how do you have the first Hokage's Kakegenkai. Naruto then smiles and says, okay, do you ask an Uchiha how they have, their Sharingan? Which, they're like, no. So Naruto then says, so why the fuck are you asking me? I just unlocked this while I was training one night. I was training when I was, like 6 years old. I was training in the woods. I then touched the tree. When I touched the tree, it started growing. So, that's how I gradually learned wood style. He then says, then how did you learn like those jutsus? And he says, like, I took the scroll of sealing. The third Hokage gave me the scroll. And I showed him. Then he said that, I can train in wood style. We were not really, like lying. So, some of the council members then say like, you should be put into the CRA, which is like what's the CRA? It's like the Clan Restoration Act. You have to marry, some women before like you marry some women. Richard then says, oh, okay, but I'm gonna select these women on my own. I don't want anyone to select them for me. Which the council members are enraged about this. Minato then says, Naruto, you're gonna have to be put at the clan restoration thing, and we're gonna select those wives for you. Since with this, the council wants to get like more influence and power. Minato then says, no, according to the act like 6.5, of the Clan Restoration Act, a person is to choose, who he wants to restore his clan with before the age of 18. Which right now I'm currently 13, so I choose who I want and I am not forced. Which the council members greet their trees, but they reluctantly agree to this since they don't want to drive Naruto away. So after all these shenanigans happen, Naruto then heads over to the Hokage office, which Naruto then gets promoted from Genin to Chunin, which Naruto is pretty happy about. So Sasuke Uchiha still leaves the village as usual, but since this time men might meet or there, so it's Naruto. Sakura makes Menma promise that he's gonna bring back Sasuke, which Menma promises, as Mito as well, they promise. Because the team is still the same, except for Menma and Mito additions. So all the fights go the same, like at the final valley. At the final valley, it's like Naruto, Mito, and Menma versus Sasuke, which they're making quick work of Sasuke, but Sasuke then like pushes Menma, hurts Menma and Mito pretty bad, which Naruto remains. Naruto and Sasuke start battling it out. Sasuke still gets his wings. He activates his 3-Tamo Sharingan, but this time Naruto is like, I'm not even waiting. He beats Sasuke to a fucking bloody pulp. He beats Sasuke up. After beating Sasuke up, Naruto then like looks at his siblings and says, take him back to the villages. He tosses Sasuke towards them. Naruto then takes out a kunai, he slashes his husband and says, yeah, I'm going rogue. I've been wanting to do this for a while since I pretty much hate Konoha for the way they treated me. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking the Naruto's chakra now. He then binds his siblings with the wood style, as he then puts his hand on their seals. As he then starts to absorb the Naruto's chakra from their seals. So Naruto then casts a quick genjutsu of them, knocking them out and erasing the memory of him absorbing, the Naruto's power. He only leaves about 5% within them, so they can survive and live. Even if the 5% is extracted, they'll still be alive. So Naruto then dips with the help of Black Setsu, transporting him to Uzu at the village. Kakashi still rushes the usual. He finds Sasuke, Menma, and Mito, but he doesn't find Naruto. So he quickly carries them back to the Leaf Village. A day later, Menma and Mito wake up as they then like scream out Naruto's name. Naruto and Kushina are there as well as Jiraiya and Tsunade. Naruto, as Menma and Mito then tell them that Naruto has went rogue. Since like of the way the villagers treated him, beating him up and everything. So he then says, I'm going rogue. I'm gonna find a better life. I'm not gonna restore my bloodline in the Leaf Village. I'm gonna look for people who actually love me for me, and and restore my clan there. So Minato is pretty grief-stricken that this happened. While other people like the council, when they hear the news, they're shocked. The Woodstock Genkai is forever gone, and they can't do shit about it. Danzo seeing this sends out his arm, to go and capture Naruto so he can use his Shisui's eye to try and manipulate them. Yeah, Shisui still died, but Itachi killed like 15. He only killed like the elders and Fugaku, because those like people were prominent in wanting to do this. So Itachi is like the new clan head of the Uchiha clan. So Minato then calls for a clan meeting, a clan head meeting. Is all the clan heads then arrive. Minato then tells them that Naruto has left the village because of so and so. Because they then agree to this. They then talk about how Sasuke like wanting to dip further in the village. Minato then tells them that It's because of the influence of the curse mark. He's gonna be working with Jiraiya and Kushina to remove the curse mark, but Sasuke, must stay bound. Like, you must have, like, must stay in the Uchiha clan compound, secured. So, as this is going on, a shinobi, like a councilman, steps into the meeting and says, Lord Okage, it's an emergency. Which, the mentor is pretty pissed and says, how dare you, not see that it's a clan head meeting. Then says, Lord Okage, someone broke into the bank and, he took tons of money from the bank. Which, all the clan was like, what? How did this happen? So, he then explains, that a masked shinobi came in, and he robbed the bank. He cast a genjutsu, on everyone there and took like half of everyone's money. Which, they also then, a knight from, the fire of the fire daimyo also arrived and said, that the fire daimyo is also going to be arriving. Somebody, took the title deeds of, the Uzumaki, like of Uzu, the Uzu nation, and as well as, half of his money. And he wants, the leaflet to investigate and capture this person so he can return those funds. Since, the fire daimyo is like loves his money and shit. So, guys, I don't know how to say. Should I leave it here? No, let's continue this video. So, time skip, 3 days later, the fire daimyo arrives, says, he calls for the council meeting. The whole council meets up. Is, the fire daimyo then tells everyone what happened, that, someone broke into his castle and took his money as well as some deeds, as well as, some other secret information. Which, they're pretty shocked about. They're like, oh shit, we have to find this person. So Minato then, sends out, his Anbu as well as Danzo. He sends out his Anbu since, Danzo's Anbu have, been reenacted into the Leaf Village since, they lost a handful of shinobi. Even though they were saved by, like, let's say they lost like about 50 shinobi, which Danzo's root force is about, 3,000 of them, which, he then reintroduces them. But, they are now under Minato's control as well. So, yeah, they're not gonna become emotionless robots. Damn it, I'm too tired for this shit. Let's keep going. So with Naruto, right now we see a Naruto who's just chilling on his bed. He then says, "Damn it, I wish I was a Kaguya right now." He then contacts Black Zetsu and asks Black Zetsu, about the plan. Which Black Zetsu then tells him that the Akatsuki is gonna start collecting the third beast in 3 years from right now. Which Naruto then says, it gives me a lot of time, for me like to train my forces up, ready the defenses, and remove Uzu from the ground and put it into the sky. Which Black says they're not about this. So Naruto's initial plan for his village is the village is gonna be floating in the air. It's not gonna be on the floor. No, it's gonna be floating in the air. It's gonna be like in a distance, like let's say it's gonna be like 100 meters up into the air. But there's gonna be a stairway so you can go inside and out the village. That's not his initial plan. Back at the leaf, Minato calls Jiraiya. As he then says, Jiraiya, I want you to go and train, Mito is, no, he then says, Jiraiya, I want you to go and train Menma and, like, the frog Kumite as well as Sage mode. I'll also come and complete my Sage mode training, so you should complete our Sage mode. Which, Jiraiya then what? He also still tells, Minato about the threats of the Akatsuki, which, Minato still agrees to this, like, they have to train them to be strong. He then asks Nand if she could train, Mito as well as Sakura. Since, Sakura has got some good chakra control. So, Sakura then gets trained by, Shizune. Since Tsunade wants to, like, put most of her training into, Mito. So, we're gonna do a time skip. 3 years. Time skip. The Akatsuki has been, moving forward with this plan during the 3 years. It has captured, the 7 tails, the 6 tails, the 5 tails, the 4 tails, the 3, the 2. It's only left with capturing the 1 tails and the 8 and 9 tails. Those 3 beaches are the only left. So right now at the Sand Village, we see Gara. As he's in his office as usual. He's doing his paperwork since he got a talk no jutsu from Mito, and she promised to be his friend. So Gara is working. When suddenly some explosions go off in his village, as he then goes out. He then sees, people with red cloaks, which, are identified as the Akatsuki. Guys, I fucking hate this shit. So, Gar then starts off to fight off these Akatsuki people. As he damages them pretty badly, but his sin soon ran out. He also even goes, into this Shukaku state, but because of dangerous explosions, he still, dies. He still like, loses. So they then capture Gara as they then take him to the Katsuki hideout where they begin the extraction. The Leaf village gets notified of this, the day which Mito and Meno arrive from their training trips. So Mito is pretty much grown. She's like a version of, Kushina with a bit of muscle. All the baby fat on her face is literally gone. There's no more baby fat on her face. Um, with Menma's black hair has grown. Still pretty much the same as, the Menma we know. But, he's gotten stronger. He has mastered Sage Mode. Since, he's a bit of a prodigy, he has mastered Sage Mode. We also look at the other rookies. For instance, Sasuke. Sasuke has also grown. He's unlocked his Mangekyo Sharingan and swapped eyes with Itachi. Who Itachi in turn swapped eyes with his mother. So, they exchanged eyes, three of them. All the rookies have grown the same as in canon. This time, they're not Mito and Menma are not Genin. They're still they're now joining since they took Chunin exams in separate countries. They're now joining level. So then meet up. A messenger, bird from the sand arrives and tells them, about how the Kazekage has been taken by the Akatsuki. So, seeing this, they then rush over to the sand with Naruto. Naruto, during these past 3 years, has been training himself to the fucking bone. He has grown, about 6 chakra trees, and they also produce some chakra fruits, which Naruto ate 3 of them, and he left the other 3 for Kaguya. When he's gonna until he's gonna give them to her, which is gonna devour them. Naruto's before has grown exponentially. It's grown. We can just say that the Shinobi Alliance times 2 of that, which will Nature's kingdom has also grown as well. It's become very big. The technology aspects have also been growing thanks to Naruto's alliance with the Snow Country. It was Naruto who rescued the Princess of Snow, which they then made a deal. She still asked Naruto if she could marry him, which Naruto then says he's gonna think about it. So Naruto isn't yet given her an answer. Yet he's still waiting until he answers Kaguya. Then they can discuss about that alliance. Uzu has also made some occurrences. The 5 great nations know of its existence now. They know that Uzu is there and it's back. Um, the Hidden Leaf tried to get it as an ally, but they failed. Flashback. Jirai came busting through the window. Minato, Minato, Jirai said. What is it, Jirai Sensei? Minato, I have some news. Uzu is back. What? What do you mean? Uzu is back. Call Kushina. Kushina is summoned. Kushina then comes in. Jirai then tells Kushina that, the Uzumaki has the Uzu village has been brought back. The hidden village and the Whirlpool village has been brought back. Which Kushina is shocked. Who brought it back? Which, he then says, it's an Uzumaki. He brought the village back, He's also gathered a strong shinobi force from, lots of missing nins and everything of everyone who's around the world. Which Kushina is shocked. My home is back. So, Metro then says, Shirai Sensei, I think we have to send, an envoy to that place so we can build back our alliance with them. Jirai strongly agrees and says, yes, we must do that. We must have them, as a friend, not as an enemy. So, they then send, a letter, to the Uzukage, which in turn is Naruto, but he has a genjutsu on. Which Naruto's Anbu gave Naruto the letter, After they scan it and see if there's nothing there which might blow up or an assassination attempt, Naruto then reads the scroll. Hello, dear Uzukage. I am Minato Namikaze, the lead of the Hokage of the hidden village hidden in the leaves. Um, I'm sending this letter to you so that we can, talk of an alliance between our two villages, as we had an alliance in the past, so we might want to, reignite that alliance. We may come, we're inviting you to my village, where, all everything will be taken care of and everything. You can send a reply back. So, Naruto sends a reply back, that he's gonna meet them in 3 days. So Naruto takes a team of his shinobi. Naruto takes two of his top shinobi, which Naruto personally trained these people to the bone to protect him. They've like been going through rigorous training. Because Naruto brought them into like the place, where time is disrupted. And he trained them, for like 50 years in there. So, physically they're like old and they've like learned a lot and they're smart. So, these people like put on some masks which, their faces cannot be seen except for the hair only. They also have large coats. They also have, the Wopu symbol on, on their shinobi thing, the shinobi headbands, as well as the Otsutsuki symbol right on the six mat tags on their backs. So Naruto heads over with them. Halfway there, Naruto is met by some bandits, which Naruto's shinobi easily defeat them. They continue on until they arrive at the gates of the Leaf village, which they're then escorted by a team there, which they then send them to the Osakage Tower. So Naruto then heads over to a hotel to rest since he's tired from walking. He could have just flown or teleported here, but he didn't want to do that since it would become very suspicious. So Naruto then heads over and rests at a hotel, which his envoys place some seals so that he's not spied on or anything. So the next morning Naruto wakes up, does his morning routine. He prepares himself. He applies some seals, which disrupt, his look as he changes a bit. Then he puts on his Kage hat and heads inside the council room. In the council room, Naruto goes and sits down, as well as Minato welcomes him. He then says, welcome Uzukage. Welcome to like the hidden village, hidden leaf. I hope your stay has been most pleasant. Which Naruto then nods and says, yeah, it's been very good. It's a very good place here. So the council is also there, the civilian council, the clan elders, the fire daimyo is also there. So then say like you're sent that you wanna discuss an alliance. Speak of this alliance you wanna discuss with me. So it then goes like to list some trading deals, technology like exchange. No, like the civilian council goes on to list on these like that Uzi is supposed to be have an alliance with them. They're gonna have some trading deals. Which these trading deals are pretty much bullshit. It's like it's in favor of Kono earning much more. They also like share like about the chakra metal which is being produced in Uzu. They also want a lot of that. So then after they're done listing their demands, rather than says so these terms you're speaking of these terms are much heavily in your favor. What am I to earn? You gain an alliance with us, the strongest village. Rather than lost, strongest village, my foot. Which turns on to his eyes. You say this is the strongest village. Why are you lying to yourselves? If you spied on the stone, they have a larger shinobi force than you. They've been growing exponentially much more than you. If you check the cloud, they have total control over their two Jinjuriki. They could come and destroy you, mow you down. The fire daimyo, starts narrowing his eyes towards Minato. Which Minato then starts to, try to diffuse the situation, saying, that these people, like, they know nothing, they're just invited. Minato then takes, then says, okay. Minato then says, okay, the thing which I really came here to say that we're not gonna have reestablished our alliance with you. No, we're not gonna do that. Our alliance with you was broken when when you betrayed us. Did you tell her? As he looks at Kushna. Tell me what? Oh, you don't know. It was Jiraiya of the Sanin who came and weakened our barrier seals, as well as let the other three villages get inside. Which turns then voices and says, you're growing too powerful, you have to get destroyed. So you're gonna take Kushna and try to rebuild the Uzumaki clan here so you can control it and get the world. But you failed, and we're not gonna rebuild our alliance with you. So Danzo then gets bit and says, "Root to me!" As the root rushes and they capture the Uzukage. We're going to have to force this village, into an alliance. So the Anbus rush at Naruto. Which Naruto doesn't even lift a finger as his Anbus appear and start slicing and dicing. After a few minutes, all Danzo's root Anbu have been defeated and they're dead. Which Naruto then says, should have expected as much. Naruto, then says, "I'll be going now." As he then starts to glow, as well as Shinobi starts to glow, and then disappear in a bright light. End of flashback. Hehe. So, the Hidden Leaf Shinobi are still heading over to the Sand Village where they're gonna go and rescue Gara. So, guys, I hope you've liked this long part. This might be the longest part I've ever made, which is like 41:20. That might be the longest I've ever made. So, I hope you like and subscribe to the channel. 50 likes on this one. After 50 likes, I drop the next part, which might be the final part. I might make it an hour, depending on how I'm feeling. I'm also gonna be launching some other what ifs as well. I hope you like them, which are gonna be in Shelby movies. Like I recently put up a post about like the movie which I'm saying is coming soon. That one is what if Naruto was like like the god of the Otsutsuki. So I hope you like that as well. So stay tuned for that. Peace, guys.